Hello, everybody, and welcome to Stargate Heavy Metal. I hope that the title becomes clear as you guys play the game. But I hope everyone watching is enjoying WonderCon. If you're joining us over on YouTube on Wyvern Gaming's YouTube channel, welcome. Let's get started. So, as a little bit of background, this is a Stargate Phoenix game. So, coming from the new game by Wyvern Gaming, which was recently funded on Kickstarter, should be out here soon. Really looking forward to that coming out. It is based on the 5th edition rules for the world's most popular role playing game. um, and it takes, if you're a fan of Stargate, it takes you off world. The Stargate Phoenix site is on a planet that no one is allowed to know where it is because they're trying to keep it secret from the gold, the bad guys of this time in the Stargate Phoenix or the Stargate universe. So, before we get started, I want everyone to go around, introduce themselves and their character, and just say what your character role is in the team. Chaz, let's start with you.
Why would you start with me? Okay. So
Because you're on
everyone,
the
my
top
name
corner.
is Chad. So my name is Chaz, and I play a tier. I feel like a tier is kind of like not actually the father figure, but sees himself as the father figure. No, he has this like
Nice.
symbiote, and now that he's like evolved and is like growing, he like wants to take that like paternal energy and like pass it on to others, whether they want to or not. She's like, hey, would you like this coffee? God, it's here. Go, guard. But coffee though, and then I'll guard.
Fair enough. And just to clarify, a tier is a
Jaffa, apostrophe.
it really depends on who said it in the show.
Yeah,
And I'm
we'll
sure
say
we'll
it's
change it.
throughout the. I want to say it like differently every time I say it, so I gotta like
Right.
have a list of the Jaffas with the symbiotes inside.
Yeah, we could do like a drinking game or something.
Every
Might
time
be
I
a
change it,
it's going to be a coffee drinking game. That's a little early. All right. So, Gilbert playing Brevel.
Hello, I'm Gilbert Ramos. I'm playing Brevel, ship engineer. He's a refugee from Tolania. I'm bad at names. Yes, Tolania. Strong sense of pride in what his people had accomplished before their fall, and a strong desire for revenge against the Ghoul.
Nice. And moving on to Roz.
Hello, my name's Roz. I'm playing Kalera. I am a Turin, a worshiper of the great Tolrak, and my role on the team is the healer, spiritualist, teacher, and really motivated to learn and see other worlds. I'm currently on a pilgrimage, spreading the healing and the medicine that works so well for my people, and hope you guys like tree bark.
And a little peace, love, and happiness goes a long way.
That's
And finally, last but not least, Allie.
Hi, I'm Allie. I'm playing Lonnie, who is Kiloan?
Sorry, I should have checked.
I just trying to make sure I'm saying it right.
Let me look. Oh, yeah, you have the Colonen.
Okay, good. Kiloan. I am an archaeologist. So
Nice.
I'm here for the culture and observation.
Excellent. And I guess I should introduce myself. I am Jeremy Hochhalter. I am going to be the gate master for this game. I publish on RPG or Drive Through RPG and DM's Guild, and I also had the opportunity to write for the first season of the Stargate Living campaign, or episode 3, Twisted Past. If you've played it and you hated it, I apologize. It's Gonzo. Not everyone loves Gonzo. It was weird to write. It's got to be weird to play. But if you had fun with it, I'm so excited. All right. So, to start, you are all part of a team called Phoenix One. Phoenix One is actually made up of several members, and your leader is Colonel Rodriguez, I believe. Let me double check that. Yep, Colonel Rodriguez. However, she's... Oh, I'm sorry, what was that?
so sorry, she's the captain.
Captain. That's totally what I said, right? Both start with C. Captain Rodriguez. Yeah, I think it's now I'm all like, oh no, what did I forget?
That's okay. We have the real Air Force here. That's what it is.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Two.
interrupted. It hurt me on the inside before it came out.
Before the show, we were talking about how two of the people on here are actually from the military, and both of them chose completely non-military people to play just to not have to play themselves. So, all right. So Captain Rodriguez is usually the team leader. However, today her and a few of the others are sick, and because of the regulations, that guide how you interact with other worlds, you don't want to spread some plague COVID to other worlds, and so they are currently in isolation. You've all been cleared, and so today the team leader is going to be a tier. Funnily enough, with his fatherly figure energy going on there. So you're all standing in the Stargate room, which is that there on your map. And let's go ahead and bring that up for everyone to see. Meow. And you're waiting for the gate to be dialed, and you're thinking back over. Now I'm all like worried about ranks. Colonel lawyer? Major lawyer?
It'll be fine.
Crap.
It'll be fine.
I apologize.
No. I should know these.
Makes you feel better, Jeremy. Captain is equivalent to Colonel in the Navy, so you were kind of right.
It is. They are the only two. Yes.
Yes. All right, so I'm pretty sure it's Major Lawyer is your commanding officer, and before you had a briefing with him, and he showed you some video from the M.A.L.P, which is the like motorized drone that goes through and has cameras and everything to make sure that the other side of the gate is safe for you. And so you went through, or like it goes through and it shows, you see what is an amazingly technological city. Like usually they go through and you see ruins or you see forest or whatever. And this is like one of the few times you've gone through, like you as a team, that you've seen the map go through and there be a city on the other side. So you're really excited for this. This is the opportunity for you to go and make first contact with a technologically advanced society, which may be a great boon to you in your fight against the Goa'uld. So as you're kind of getting amped up for this, you hear the gate begin to dial, and it's spinning around, and the chevrons are locking in, and then the event horizon explodes forward in that whoosh of what appears to almost look like water and bubbles, and then it comes back and creates this like pool over the front of the Stargate. Atir, you're up. Do you say anything, or are you just heading through?
Today, we embark on a new journey, a new mission, where we can befriend and reinforce our battle against the Goa'uld. But I want everyone to remember one important thing. As we cross through, be careful and take care of yourselves. We can do this. All hands in.
All hands in.
Go Phoenix 1! Love it.
Salute you. Yeah, felt important.
So as you step through, and you've been through the gate several times at this point, on missions, plus there was the trip back and forth many times to get the Phoenix site set up. And as you step through, it's kind of like this almost instantaneous. You walk through one side and you come out the other. There is like this disorientation, and especially the first few times you go through, it's a little unnerving to your stomach and your senses. And so you're always prepared for that. But as you step through, it's this very jarring effect, and you fall through the other side, and everyone kind of lands hunched over. There's a bit of like that upset stomach feeling. You may feel free to throw up if you'd like to. But as you look around, you realize you are not where you thought you were going to be.
Uh-oh. Should have wrote those coordinates down.
Now, did that just show up for you?
Yes.
Yes.
Just wanted to
Yes,
make sure
indeed it
you
did.
could see it. So before you is this desolate looking planet. No city, no greenery. You don't see plants. You don't see much of anything. Just kind of this blasted wasteland. Except for in the sky is rising this enormous planet. Much larger than anything that you've seen before. Like it seems to dwarf the planet that you're on. And you glance behind you and there is no Stargate. And there's no dial home device, the DHD, in front of you. You just kind of get spat out by the wormhole. And then it's gone. What do you do?
Gonna look at Chaz.
I'm gonna walk back to where the Stargate was and try to touch it. Is there some kind of invisible force field? Oh, do I feel it?
Yeah. So as you walk around and you're, like shuffling through the sand and just gently trying to find it without running into, like, face first into it, other than like sand and nearby there are some of these like large structures that are rising out of the sand, you don't see anything and you don't feel anything near you.
Okay. Have I heard of this happening before? Like, this has to be a thing where like people went out and then they came back and they're like, "Why'd you get rid of the Stargate?"
Go ahead and make a let me double check, but I'm sure it's a history check. Going to take a look at your sheet here real quick.
My history's only -1. I could do that.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Do it.
Blorp.
That's 17?
That's not bad. So you have not by word of mouth. You haven't like really talked to anyone who has experienced this, but you do recall having read through some previous Stargate mission reports. Sorry, I lost the word for a second there. That mentions like the gate acting weird, put like depositing people where they weren't expecting. But usually there was at least like a gate.
And this is something.
Like sometimes there's like an error in like the gate programming and it'll send you off to the next closest gate, for example.
Right.
But there's no gate here. And so that's a little disconcerting.
So then I'll tell my friends. So this has happened before, but not like this. So on the bright side, hey, we're trailblazers. On the negative side, we're trailblazers, and a lot of them like usually die if they're not prepared. But we are prepared. So let's get together and figure out what's going on. Yeah. And then while I'm saying this, on the inside, I'm like freaking out, but trying to do my best. We got this, and we are the best trained, and yeah, we can do this.
We can make our home anywhere. We just have to be attuned to what we have, and we can make this work.
Yes, tuned to the dirt.
Yes,
Sure.
let me try that. And I'm gonna just stick my hands in the dirt, try to smell the air and look around and see if I can like in tune anything about the nature or survival or something about where we are on this planet.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and do a survival check.
Okay.
I like the
Nice.
We're rolling so well.
Right? Starting off
Hey,
strong, just so it can.
Don't you jinx that before I get to roll.
So Clara starts walking around and like kind of touching the ground, touching the sand, running her fingers through it. There's some of those structures nearby, but they're much lower. It's almost like as you're walking up to it, it almost looks like debris from the other pieces. And as you pick one up, you realize it's not rock. It's actually, it feels to you much more like bark, perhaps, or maybe some kind of. It's almost like fungal in nature.
Can I try to? Can I try to see if I could eat it?
Sure.
Like smell it. So there, I know there's like a test for these things. You smell it, you rub it, and then you taste it. I'm gonna do whatever that investigative
Yeah.
process
Okay.
is, and then I'm gonna stop when it's weird.
Fungus, and you want to put it. That's
We
what
don't know unless we try, and I would rather learn from my friends so they don't have to go through
The
this.
archaeologist over here is gonna watch like this.
I'm gonna describe it the whole
Getting-
time to Lonnie too. Lonnie, so this isn't. It's not the rock. This is actually. It's organic. It smells earthy, and it feels, And then whenever I get my danger mojo, I'm gonna stop. But I'm gonna go all the way to eat it if I can.
Okay, so you like touch it, rub it, you do all the things before tasting it. You're sniffing it. It smells a little, almost spicy. And when you go to taste it, it's a little too. It is a little barkish. So like trying to chew it is, it's not even like trying to eat a chip. It's rougher than that. So like the most horrid Dorito ever. It's just kind of, but you just kind of crunch into it a little, and then you spit it out. Not because you feel endangered by it, and it tastes a lot like black licorice, like anisey.
Oh yeah.
But you don't get any sense of danger from it. You could probably boil it down to be a little more palatable. Is what you get the idea about.
Okay, so I'll describe it like if you need to eat shoes, we could start here. So like Atir said, we found a place. There's organic matter here. We can figure it out. So woo-saw.
Woo-saw.
So I'm gonna do my own I'm not gonna taste anything, but I'm gonna look around. I'll touch stuff and do the same thing because we kind of have different backgrounds. Her and I get my own. But before I start doing that, the instant we come out of the thing, and then Chaz's character tells us all about his stuff, and be like, "Well, this never happened with Captain Rodriguez." Just
and I'll be like, that's okay. Things happen. It takes a while, but on the inside, I'm like, oh my god, we gotta hide that. Gotta be strong.
And my character doesn't mean it offensively, but we state facts, and that's what we have. That never happened to us with her.
I mean, like, Latir knows you're right. Did I do the wrong thing? Did I offend the person who sent us there? What did I do? It's okay. What? Gotta stay strong. Gotta stay strong.
So Lanny, go ahead and make me a perception check.
Perception. All right.
Nice. So in the distance, you do see another structure. It is not quite the same as the others. Like it looks more constructed, more fabricated, rather than these like kind of growing columns of what are apparently some kind of plant or something. It is off in the distance. It's kind of hard to make out, but every so often you do see like a blinking light coming off of it.
I'll point it out to the team.
Okay. And Burvell, what are you doing?
Taking in the scenery. My friend just tasted a foreign substance. I don't know what I would be doing. Just kind of, nope, I'm okay.
Oh,
Thank you.
Okay.
Not really my palate. Just looking, I guess, making sure that we're the only forms of life so far.
Go ahead and do a survival check.
Be that.
Wow.
Nice.
They're starting off super strong.
Holy
Right? So as Clara's like, rubbing around in the dirt and like getting a feel for the place, you do notice that over there it looks almost like there are some indentations as though people had walked through here, but it's been probably a while and like the sand has blown back over them. So you definitely feel like there have been people here at some point. It's really hard to tell how long ago though.
Well, good news, everyone. Looks like there was people here. We don't know how long, of course. Looks like it's been a minute. So we're not alone, maybe? Or they died a horrible death.
Or they died a horrible death.
Do you think the Stargate's down there? I'm just like looking at the ground, like
We can dig.
if all this is new, you would do this, right, engineer guy? Like, is it down there?
Maybe? Again, it's a possibility of
I'm gonna just start digging.
sanctuary and safety.
Yeah, help. Let's dig.
Come out down there. That would
And
suck.
look down.
So whoever the first person is besides a tier to reach into their packs for their like little fold out shovel, you also find the like little paper bag of like Chex Mix and travel snacks that a tier packed into your packs.
Aw.
Does it have a "I love you" note?
I don't
It
know, does
has
it?
I believe in you note, because like I can't be all like fatherly figure, because I know that not everyone likes that, but I do be like, you're like the best archaeologist we have. I'm so happy you're coming with us.
It's the picture of him too.
Or
I believe in you. I'm
the whole
excited. We'll save that.
team together, and he's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes,
Like a very
We're
bad
definitely
Photoshop.
right.
We're-
Love it. All right, so everyone starts digging around, and it doesn't take long to figure out that there probably isn't anything. There's some like root systems from where those like other versions of those weird growths were. But other than that, you don't find any. There's no technology. There's no items down here.
Yeah, no. I think best bet is to follow the footprints, don't you think?
You want to go to the city or the blinking light?
Do the footprints lead to the blinking light?
They do head off that direction.
Makes sense to go towards this any sign of civilization. I like
Okay.
that idea.
Safety or a horrible death?
Let's focus on the safety.
Horrible
Safety.
safety. Wait.
Humans are so intense.
Okay, so everyone.
They
Go ahead.
start walking, I'm gonna like eyeball and be like, okay, is anyone too hot? Like start like fanning and like, do you? And
You know,
just because
it's-
it's a desolate environment, I don't think they're okay with that. So
It's funny that you say that though, because as you're walking, you do notice everyone is sweating a little bit more, and you notice, like you grew up in kind of like a heavy forested area. It was usually like pretty humid, pretty warm, and so this is a lot like that, but it's just dry. It's like all of the moisture is being sucked out, and it is warmer here than the M.A.L.P report said it would be. So again, definitely not the same world or condition of the world that the M.A.L.P. Also, that is an important thing. The M.A.L.P is not there. So the M.A.L.P would have gone through, and you would have like followed it through, and then you would have sent it back. It is not there. I almost forgot that. But yeah, you do notice as everyone's walking along, everyone's starting to sweat. It's definitely warmer than you're used to.
I'm gonna keep an eye on that, and then like if there's ever a point where I think it's like getting weird, I'm gonna be like, oh, I need a break. Why don't we we'll just put our coats together and make some shade, and then I'll just have that like in my pocket.
Nice. So it's getting near that. Like everyone's kind of starting to trudge as you get closer to that structure that's in the distance, but you manage to make it to the structure before you feel that it's kind of getting to be a danger for your healths. And as you walk up to it, it's actually many structures, and it looks like it's pretty. The first thing it reminds most of you of are the solar panels that are set outside the Phoenix site to like draw energy and everything. There's just hundreds of these solar panels that are circling this small tower that has the blinking light on it. And that's really all that's there.
Ominous.
Why
I'm
don't we
gonna
check our
run around,
waters? Did
watch
everybody have a drink of water before we do more things? I mean,
Wait.
I'm just so thirsty.
If you haven't been, it sounds like a really good idea.
Ah,
Definitely
I'll drink
stuff with
while
some
I
water.
go over to the
get
cellar.
your tier peanut butter and jellies going. You know, just take a quick break.
Lanny, what were you saying?
I'm gonna drink water while I go over to look at all the structures.
Okay. Are you gonna start with the what look like the solar panels?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you get up close to it, like they definitely have that look to them. Maybe the materials might be something else, but you definitely get the feeling that these are energy collectors. And even though it's like you see wire or like a essentially what looks like a collection of wires that go down into the ground to come off of them, and then you get the feeling they're going off towards that tower. Like some of them aren't really all that well buried anymore. Like the sand is blown off of them over time.
Does that tower look important? I'm gonna go over to the tower next.
Sure. While she's heading that direction, what is everyone else doing?
I will accompany her.
Okay.
Good to have an
Clara?
engineer.
I'm probably gonna stick with the crowd, but like, I'm not too worried about the technology. Who lived here before? Is there anything I can use for like resources and supplies to take with us? If we're stranded here forever, I think we could survive. We could post up in a tower. This would be fine. Like, I'm doing a lot of that.
Okay. And a tear?
I'm going to be focused on the potentiality of horrible death. So
But
looking
not
around,
talking
like,
about it.
no. Just
Okay.
like,
Just to make sure.
oh, if I see some like a potential horrible death, I'll just kind of stare someone away, like, oh, or like I'll stand on that side, like, oh, this might turn into a massive like killing machine. So I'll stand this way.
Yeah. Go ahead and make a perception check. Excuse me.
Are you good at that, a chair?
With the dice roller today, it's not going to matter. Everything's going to be.
At some point, it's going to be like a natural
Right.
one, and like at the most important time.
Uh huh.
And there we go.
Knew it. There.
So, Achir, you look around and you're not really sure what all these panels are for, but really they don't look threatening. The tower has a door on it, but there are no battlements or anything. You feel completely safe here.
I knew we had such a good team. We worked together, and we haven't solved it yet, but we're gonna solve it. And I'll just kind of like high five anyone who will, and if no one will, I'll just high five myself. Let's go.
And it does cross your mind that most of the time when Captain Rodriguez is leading a team and they run into a structure that looks like this, usually there are battlements on it. So maybe this time, because you're here to counteract what Lanny was saying to you earlier.
Yeah, it's like maybe I can do this.
All right, so Lanny and Burvell, you end up reaching the tower, and there is like a door on it. You notice pretty quickly that the door is a little larger than you would expect for a human-sized person, rather than that kind of doors are what, like 7 feet, 6.5 feet, something like that. This one's closer to like 10.
Oh shit.
But it's a single like swinging door as opposed to like some kind of gateway or something that you expect a larger door to be. What do you do?
Go knock on it.
There's this hollow ring as you knock on it. The door's metal and it seems to kind of like echo on the other side.
I don't think anyone's home, guys. Should we go in?
Yeah, I think
Let's
so.
do it.
Safety
Okay.
from the sun. I'm all for it.
So it looks like the door has like a button pad that you would push to like open and close.
We need to know the code.
It's not so much a code as just like there's an open button and a close button.
Ah, okay. Push the open button.
Okay. So you push the button, and there's obviously power. Like it goes and opens, and there's like this grinding noise, as like sand is like being ground down into the track, and you can tell that the door's been opened several times because there is sand on the other side of it, like that has poured through. Almost like you notice that the door is actually down into the sand a little bit, so it is like pushed up against the wind has blown it up against the building, and as you step through, I'm assuming. Okay. As you step through, you notice that the ground is harder on this side, almost like they cleared sand away, or maybe it's some kind of flooring. It's really hard to tell with the like bit of sand that's on it, but it looks like a very large chamber. And in the center, you see just dimly from the sunlight that's shining through, you see what looks like some kind of uh, mechanical contraption. It's hard to make out from here, though.
Heading immediately for the mechanical contraption.
Ooh, I know what this does. So, turning on a flashlight, are you going to try and look for the lights that are inside, or what's your plan as far as that goes?
Don't think I have a flashlight.
We'll say you all have flashlights if it's not on your.
Then I will turn on a. Yeah, I do have a flashlight. Neat.
Yay.
I will turn a flashlight on.
Okay. So as you shine it around, it looks like all of those wires, all of those like cables that come out of the solar panels outside, all converge in this room, and they all like feed into what looks like this large kind of cylindrical construction, and it reminds you very much of like that cylindrical construction looks very much like the Stargate. Like the Stargate, Lanny and Burvell definitely know this. Atir and Kulera might have been told this, but they're just like, okay, right? The Stargate's made out of a material called naquita, and this looks like that.
I will make all of this known to my allies.
Okay. Meanwhile, what are Atir and Kulera doing?
Now, because of my misunderstanding of technology, I'll be like, good, can you just turn it on? Like knocking on it. Is this how? Can you just turn
That's what
it
it
on?
sounds like.
for
Yeah,
Belle?
like, do we have to?
Yeah. Should we move it? Do you roll it?
Okay, so you two are looking around for like control panels, and
Yeah,
what's
like how to-
Lanny doing?
Verbally trying to get him to talk me through it, though. I'm just trying to participate.
And what's Lanny doing? Does she go with Burvell or does she go elsewhere?
I'll probably go like towards with them, but so one of my background is a sleuth or a sleuth. I don't know how to say it. So what it is I'm really focused on uncovering secrets.
Gotcha.
So that's what that's my goal here. Is like I feel like this building looks secretive and there's some secret I must uncover.
Okay, so I want Lanny to roll me an investigation check. And then we'll do like an everything. There we go. Nice. So we'll do like an everything kind of description here. Everyone, as you're walking around and looking, you do end up finding some control panels. You're not totally sure what they do. But as Lanny is looking around, you start noticing there are like scorch marks as though from so like Atir has a Matok staff which shoots plasma beams, like blasts. It looks like energy weapons have been discharged at various locations around whatever this machine is. You're not 100% sure it works any longer because of that damage. And then, Lanny, as you're walking around, you find a pile of bones.
So, I'm gonna keep the bones and the battle stuff a secret from Doctor and Engineer.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell the new captain like secret, like, hey, I want you to show me something about this note we have here from earlier, if you don't mind coming over here.
Oh, sure. Like, that's the first time I'm like run over.
And then like, I don't want to alarm you, but those are bones. And if you look around, there's definitely been some sort of battle here.
So with my experience with the M.A.L.P, can
Mhm.
I like see anything about the like placement of these energy blasts? Like, where did they come from? Perhaps
Mhm.
there is a room that has a death android that shoots it from one direction.
Gotcha. So you're looking for like active threats that are still remaining here, essentially.
You said I'm looking specifically for where, if I could tell where most of these blasts came from. So where like was the
Like
danger?
forensic science, when you backtrack the trajectory of the bullet.
Right.
Yeah, like there's a whole bunch of like blasts on this wall, so that means
So it definitely looks like the blast came from all around.
okay.
Like somebody was walking around, or multiple people were walking around, either shooting at each other and missing, and that's where the scoring on the machine comes from. But you notice a lot now that you two are both looking. There aren't really a lot of these marks on the outer walls. It's mostly like the wiring, the cables, the machinery itself. Almost like it was the target rather than people shooting each other.
Right. So that will get super serious. Take a that's from a group of my talk staff. Maybe it's not safe that we all stay in here.
Should we go somewhere else? Is there like a door or another place to go?
It does look like there's another door on the opposite side that goes outside. Like there were two entrances, but otherwise there isn't another room to this building.
I'm just gonna go over and casually open it. Oh, it's so hot in here. We need cross ventilation.
Sure. So you open that side again. Same thing. There's a button that you push, and the power's still on, so it grinds open. This one doesn't seem like it's as used as much as the other one. Almost like people coming from where they were spit out come here more often than people coming from the opposite direction. But it does have like sand in the gears, and it's also slightly buried by time.
I'm gonna go back to Lonnie
Okay.
and ask. So these bones, can you tell if they're human bones?
It is like if you kind of just glance through them, even just like shining your light on them rather than touching them, it becomes pretty obvious that yes, they are humanoid bones. Like there's like a rib cage and there's a skull. That's definitely a humanoid skull. Um, whether or not they are like which subspecies of human or another one that you've never seen, you're not sure from a cursory glance.
Can I go look in the bones? Like, I'm an elbow deep in these bones.
Sure.
And can I see damage on the skulls or on the bones at all?
There are some scorch marks on the bones, which, again, people who get hit with Matok plasma bursts, like that, if that stuff goes deep enough, it can definitely scorch the bones.
So essentially, they violently died. It wasn't like they sat here and starved to death.
Yep. Yep. Violently died. And another thing you notice, there's no clothes, there's no gear, and they're kind of in a pile. So these bodies have been stripped of their goods, and time or whatever has removed the flesh.
How old do they look?
Go ahead and do I want to call that one a medicine check. You do notice that some of them are in varying degrees of like that post decomposition whitening, like how they like it becomes more like brilliantly white and kind of like flakes. Some of them are fresher than that, but they're still probably years old.
So they weren't all from the same time then.
Correct.
So I will tell Tyr. Maybe somebody just comes here to dump their bodies.
Could be, yeah.
As one does.
Do we want to wait for that person?
I mean, as far as I know, they have a pretty good kill record.
So while you two are talking, let's go back over to the other two. Burvell and Kulera, what are you two doing?
Walking her through the tech side of all this while I'm trying to sort things out, figure out the controls.
You gonna start her up?
So go ahead and make me let me look at Burvell over here real quick. An engineering check.
Copy that.
Excellent.
Nice.
So even though like some of the controls are obviously different and like they're not really using engineering that you personally have worked with, like it's pretty easy to figure out, oh, this button does this and this is what turns this on, and you quickly realize that nothing is working.
Now theoretically, this should turn it on, and 3, 2... Huh.
And you also find the light switch.
If you hit that switch over there, I think that should be lights.
This one?
Yes, that one.
Boop.
And as you
Fantastic.
turn it on, they start as like kind of this dim flash, and then it slowly rises over a few minutes. But the light just filters down from looks like recessed lighting in the ceiling, and everyone can see clearly now without having to see their flashlights. And Brubel and Claire, it's pretty obvious that there are some like blackened areas on this machine. It's not pristine, even though like the doors have kept out a lot of the sand. It's still dirty, and there's these like weird kind of like burn marks on it.
You're gonna stand in front of the bones, very like.
Yeah, just like, oh, it's
Nothing to see here.
If they're acting weird, I'm gonna go over there because my whole thing right now is like emotional support. Because I'm like, this isn't their environment. They need the support. And so
Nice.
if Burvell's good and successful, I'm gonna go. Look, is this organic matter? You think that's a fungus too?
Hug
You
her,
guys
be like,
wanna
oh
try
my
to do
god!
it?"
Let's look at
anything
that.
to get her like, oh no, I'm so sad. Is there anything you can do? As I'm like directing her, oh, woe is me. Look this way.
So, Claire is not an idiot. I'm gonna be very like,
Didn't you bring the sad tea?
this.
Right? All right, so
I'm
so
actually
Lanny,
gonna consider I could make a sad tea.
Lanny and Atir, make me deception checks.
Oh boy.
Okay, 15.
You said deception. Oh god.
Yeah.
This is not gonna go well for me.
That's not terrible. And then Clara, make me an insight check.
Natural 1. Shit.
Yeah, she does not. She does
Oh.
not buy your malarkey. We're gonna go with malarkey.
Yeah, I would see it as malarkey. I'm like, is the heat getting to you? Stop being weird, and I'm gonna try to see whatever it is that I think that they're doing.
What do you think we're doing?
All right.
What does my
So,
insight think that they think they're doing?
You feel very much like they are being very genuine in the way that they care about how you feel, and you definitely feel like they are trying to keep you from seeing something because they feel like it will upset you.
Okay. I'm gonna say, okay, guys, we're one team. We can do this better together. Just tell me what's going on.
As they both just stand there and go,
So, all right. The good news is, because we're all about good news, we found other people.
Oh, that's great.
The bad news is they did not fare exceedingly well, and I will slowly reveal the bones.
Oh, I'm gonna go down and be like, the great Tulak will take care of them. Don't worry. Everyone has their time. We just want to make sure our time is not today, though.
Yes.
And like, if I have any kind of ceremony, Jeremy, I want to like do something to like honor the
Sure.
passing of these people.
Absolutely. So Clara sits down for a while with the bones and silently, or not silently, but like quietly chants over them. Atir and Lanny, having failed keeping Clara from seeing that stuff, is there anything that you want to do over here, or do you want to leave her to it?
Oh, it feels private. I'm definitely gonna leave her to her ritual.
Okay.
I've seen her do this. It takes a while.
Okay. So Burvell is over inspecting the machine still. Is there anything that you want to do while they're doing that, Burvell, or are you just essentially trying to figure out what this thing does?
Figuring out what it does, and then, if possible, labeling certain portions of it.
Sure.
And
So,
then
oh yeah, go ahead.
seeing a tier and not Kalira, Lenny. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Coming over, I'll just peek up from my work and just congratulations, Atir. You didn't lead us to a horrible death, so this is a step in the right direction.
Take that as a win. Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah. What do you mean yet?
No, not nothing. Archaeologists think of all the possibilities. It's fine. So what do we have here?
I'm not quite sure. I don't know what the machine does. The controls seem similar to the Stargate ? Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong.
So the material that that central like cylinder is made out of is made from Naquita, which is the same stuff, but you don't feel like it is a Stargate. You don't feel like it has anything to do with like wormhole travel or whatever. If anything, it just kind of seems like a big chunk of Naquita, which is
Gotcha.
weird. Like it's like shaped in this. Like there are some components to it that these wires are feeding into, which are like it almost seems like the entire purpose of this facility is to empower this Naquita. And like having investigated around the edge and everything, you get the feeling it actually goes down below you quite a ways. Like there's like a big cylinder structure of Naquita that feeds into the crust of the world.
So there is Naquita in this machine. It doesn't seem like Stargate or travel of any sort, but it looks like it's a power supply or a to channel power. Not quite sure. There's something below us though, something further that I would need to look at to get a better feel for what this does.
Do you know how to make a Stargate?
Building one from scratch would be nearly impossible, especially given the materials.
So
Theoretically,
2 hours?
yes. What's that?
So like 2 hours maybe?
No. 2
A
centuries.
tier you get inspiration. You all get inspiration because you've all been doing your character so wonderfully so far.
Yay.
So yeah,
I've
you-
heard some story from engineer. I can't remember your name.
Burvell.
Ravel. I've heard the stories they tell about you, and how you were on their planet and you got off.
Wasn't necessarily
It's all out.
a heroic escape, more of a rescue while under debris. But
We're kind of trapped. We might need you to redo that.
yeah, reliving all good memories.
What do you need? I'll get my notebook out. What do you need to make this dream a reality?
To see the rest of the machine, which again would be below us.
All right, let's go down.
Yeah, I'm gonna look for anything that leads down, whether it be inside or outside, anything that I can like
Sure. Uh, while they're doing that, Calera is doing her ritual. So the three of you start looking around for hatches, doors, something that goes down into, and you do end up finding like these like lift up grates that you can then climb down, and it looks like that circles around and goes down deeper around this like Naquita core. But Atir, while you're like circling around it, like trying to find all of the entrances through that second door that you left, like that you opened to get the air to go through.
If you have me kill all my friends, Jeremy, I will never forgive you.
Do it. Make him the asshole, Jeremy. Do it.
Right? I'm gonna make a reference here that no one is gonna get unless they're watching Chaz's Wednesday game. But this black butterfly comes through the door. No,
No.
just kidding.
Don't touch it.
Until you hear it, and like it's so faint that you like hear it before you actually register it. Like you keep looking around for a few seconds, and then you realize you hear like plasma fire, like the like Matok battle staff fire way in the distance, but you can hear it, and it's coming from that direction of the second door.
Okay, so I know this is an area that I can come back to. I want to immediately go back, like hurrying to see if I can close that door. I don't know what closing that door will do, but just like, gotta go, gotta close.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you just head over there and you push the button and it closes. Again, there's like that kind of grinding. It doesn't like just go like a.
And then
It's funny because now in hindsight I say that it was a swinging door.
swinging door.
It's no longer a swingy door. The gate master has spoken. He goes and closes.
And then I want to tell everyone, hey, so all this Matok fire. So I'm hearing it in the distance. There's evidence, like small evidence, but evidence that they're coming in this direction. Hence the bodies. So we need to be prepared for what is very likely going to happen.
I'm gonna hide.
Should we kill the lights?
Yes.
I'm gonna hide in a super unnoticeable place.
So Clara, as a tier like is explaining this, you're like 3/4 of the way through your ritual, but you know that there's like that like the kind of like catch-all phrase that you can just say at the end if you need to move on.
I would do that. Kalera's fairly wise and understands the danger part, so it'll be like, you know what? The great Tolrak knows you're here, and
Amen.
make it so. I don't know. That would be
Right.
nice.
Engage. Wait, wrong show.
Engage. And I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna emotionally support Lonnie.
Okay. So Lonnie, are you gonna like
You
go?
can't hide with me. That is how people find you. You have to get your own hiding place.
Okay, I will, but it's gonna be like right next to her though. But wherever like an appropriate
This
place.
is teamwork making the dream work right here.
It is.
Go
And
find
this
your
is
own
like-
hiding space.
No,
This
you
is
can't
like-
argue now. Now's not the time to argue.
I
That's
might
fine.
hide in the bones. It's possible.
Please, no. I'll gently body block.
I need a vantage point.
So there's
Yes.
definitely like you could either. It depends on whether or not you want to hide from that door or if you just want to hide from everything in general. So like you could go down those like stairwells that lead down, or you could just like stand on the other side of this structure from that door. You know what I mean? Is your intention to be more hidden, or like I'm gonna be hiding but ready to jump out and attack?
Ooh, good question. I don't know if I'd be ready to attack, but it's more like a hiding and observing first, not.
Observing.
So I
Okay.
have to be able to see what's going on.
Okay. And everyone else?
So are we killing lights?
Yes.
Okay, killing lights, pulling the P90 out, R off the back, and you said I could hide behind the structure.
Yeah, so there's like the Nakoda cylinder, and then there's like these essentially power boxes that come up and meet with it. So like as you walk around the perimeter of it, there's a lot of like hidey holes that you could go into, or you could just go underneath it.
I will defer to Atir's orders. He is our
Oh,
pseudo captain.
Our fearless leader.
earning your inspirations. I like it.
I would prefer that everyone go down and hide. I know Lonnie wants to observe, and so I will have everyone hide as close as possible, like ready to fight and jump out if need be. That way Lonnie can observe, and if we're lucky and they're just like nice Girl Scouts who are bringing like Girl Scouts cookies,
Right.
that's great. And if
Jaffa
they're
Scout cookies.
Jaffa Scout cookies, yeah.
Mhm.
Jafar Scout cookies, that's great. If it's not, and we get caught observing, then we're immediately ready to jump in.
Okay. So everyone's going to hide kind of on the same side as one another and like behind various pieces of equipment that are hide worthy. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay. So how long are you going to do this for?
I mean, they seemed far off, so we
Mhm.
have some time. I'll just meander around my hiding spots.
Okay.
And one, because I figure like even if the door's closed with my talk fire, we'd hear it.
Yeah. So did you close the other door too?
Not yet.
Okay. So as you're like hanging out on that side, sound would come in from there pretty easily, and then as they got closer, you're essentially expecting to be able to hear that fire from either side.
Yeah.
And as you walk around for a while, like you're sitting in the semi gloom of the room, there's a little bit of sunlight coming in from that other side, and you don't. Once you closed that door, it was so far away you couldn't hear it, and you don't hear the Matok fire coming from the other door. It was just a little like the way it faces,
Mhm.
and it never really seems to. You never hear it again. And like 10 minutes go by, 20 minutes go by, half an hour. Everyone's getting fidgety. What do you do?
I mean, after 10 minutes, I'd have been like, okay, we have our plan in place. Let's go back to it.
Okay.
We have our hiding spots. Like, once we hear things, we know where we're going.
Do you want to leave that other door shut and the other one, the one that you opened first, open?
Yeah, there's no point in having it, the other one open unless we need to. So, yeah, we'll leave that one shut, and the first one will stay open.
Okay. And Vervel, are you going to turn the lights back on?
I'm split on the decision. I'll ask Atir, lights on or off, in case we wish to hide. The lights might be a signal that someone's been here, but without them, I'm sure our work will be delayed.
Once they keep the lights on, as long as they keep firing, we should be able to hear them far enough out. And if we get caught with the lights on, then observing just won't be an option anymore.
Does anybody know how to set traps? Or like, it doesn't have to be like a trap.
I have bombs!
Wait, I didn't say bomb.
I have bombs. We went from trap to like
Do we
Die
have-
Hard.
Right, that's not what I was going for. I just want like a little tripwire that goes.
And what does it trip? The bomb!
Okay, I didn't ask him. I'm gonna go with somebody else now.
Oh!
Love it.
Who's the engineer? I need him to come.
So yeah, if you want to like string some traps around, like the doorways, essentially, is that what you want? So just the
Jingle bells. I want
Sure.
Jingle bells.
Jingle bells.
easy enough to do. Absolutely. So, your investigation of this machine over the next like couple of hours essentially shows that this structure is built here to empower this Naquita for some reason. You get the feeling that there is a decent sized pillar that goes down into the crust. Burvel, you have no idea. Like without there's some factors missing that you don't really know what this is for. Like Naquita is used for weapons. It's used for the Stargate. It's used to empower things. It like is an energy source for some things, like the Matok right, or the Matok staffs are actually powered on like liquid naquita. Why they are trying to empower it more, and this like idea of why did they disable it? Why did they shoot it with like some Jaffa obviously, or somebody else with laser like plasma rifles shot this thing to the point that it doesn't really work anymore. So why did they do that? And so like these thoughts are crossing your mind as you're investigating. But that's really all you figure out from here. You don't find any other
Does
stuff.
this look like I could repair it from here, or would I need to descend and dig deeper into the inner workings?
So there was definitely like some damage done to the lower levels as well, but you get the feeling that over time, it's really a matter of like getting replacement parts. You might be able to fabricate enough to make it work, but you're not really sure there's enough like raw material here to do so.
Gotcha. I will let Atir know this.
So, would you like to go down? Or we could go back down below, see what we can see down there.
So you've investigated all of that, and
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I'm not sure what the next step is. This is an enigma, and to be quite honest, it's frustrating. This is something that I don't know what it's for, but it's got naquita in it, and as I'm sure you know, it can be used for weapons, the Stargate, all sorts of things. So this could be our key home, or it could be a horrible death.
So here's a question for you then. Is it possible that this is what drew us through the Stargate, like this massive energy?
It very well might be. There's no way of knowing for sure, though.
So what you're saying is we should set up for a long stay as we figure out what's going on, because it's either we stay here and use this to attempt to get home, or we go out into the wilderness some more with the people with the plasma.
We could attempt to repair this ourselves, and it will take some time. Or we could try and, this is going to sound very foolish, seek out those people. Maybe they clearly knew what was going on here. So they disabled it for a reason. I'm not sure why, but maybe they aren't hostile to or toward other life. Maybe they're just overly cautious.
We'll have to see them at some point. Based on what you're telling me, this is not going to be a quick trip, and they tend to come in, it seems like, not very often, but they do show up every once in a while.
And it's best to garner good relations early on rather than be found out as sneak thieves later on.
You know, you got your killing stick.
Pull the P90.
All right, I think we're ready to do some diplomacy.
So while they're just discussing diplomacy, what are Clara and Lanny doing?
What are we doing? Are we hanging out?
Well, if you're not doing anything, I would be looking for like the life support kind of things. Like, where's the break room? Even on Earth, every place you go with all these things always has a break room. They have bathrooms. I'm gonna be looking for like, did someone leave some notes somewhere? Is there food we can salvage? Like, I'm gonna be looking at that stuff.
Yeah. So
I'll follow you around.
looking for those things, it becomes fairly obvious that this place was not designed for any of that. So it wasn't designed to have people residing at, even like as a work shift. Like once it was on, it was supposed to just be on, and then that was it, apparently.
Okay. So I'll tell Lonnie that and be like, I think we should tell it here because I feel like this will affect how often we should expect people to come here, is that people don't need to come here. And if they destroyed the machines, like, then extra why would you need to come here? We might be okay. And But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, we should tell him.
Awesome. I feel like really empowered because I did something that wasn't just like medicine. We're gonna go tell the leader.
Okay. Atir, what do you do with this new information?
I'm gonna think about how my Chex Mix did not prepare me for this. I probably should have spent more time learning leadership than actually like proper Chex Mix flavoring combos and. Okay, so then we'll stay here tonight. We'll get a better understanding of what this is, its possibilities. Based on the sand outside, I definitely don't come here very often. I'm fairly certain we don't want to get caught here, but we probably have at least a few days of figuring out what's going on. I will be prepared for diplomacy either way.
Okay. Verbal diplomacy and gunfire diplomacy. Gotcha.
Yeah, like whatever way you can communicate your intentions to the other person.
Okay.
Is there any loose naquita around? Like, there's the pillar, the big cylinder bit.
Right.
Is there any like little shunted off bits or like pick stones that are able to be carried?
There are not. And you actually know that it's very difficult to harm, like break apart Naquita. So, like, it's not weird that the pillar, as long as it was in a piece to begin with, isn't like falling apart. That's not strange. Like, the Stargate stayed buried for thousands of years with no damage to it. So, like, that's not strange that there aren't pieces of it falling off. But there aren't like extra things of it laying around either. So.
Gotcha.
Okay. So the plan is to hang out here, rest for the night. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do you leave that other door open?
No.
So you're kind of like hanging out, trying to figure out when to sleep because it's not getting any darker out. But like you've been here for several hours, and so you all decide to start your rest cycle and everything. And so whoever decides to rest first, while the other one or two are on guard. But whoever goes to shut the door, like you notice that planet is like overhead. And the sky itself, like it's this really faint blue, almost like that on Earth when like it's dusk and everything is starting to fade off, and you can see stars, but it's not quite black yet, and it's not quite blue yet. Everything around that planet looks like that, and you don't see the sun in the sky. This is all probably reflected light off of that planet back onto where you are, and it does look like that planet is starting to reach a point where it's starting to turn to night. Like you can see its night side as you're orbiting around it. So the sun will probably be in the sky soon. Does that make sense? So you're not really sure how long till night shows up where you are. So everyone rests. Nothing shows up to attack you in your sleep. Sorry. And when you all wake, it's still light out. Although the light has shifted, it's a little more glary now that the sun has come up on the other side, and you're getting a bit of reflected light off of the planet, which is now over on the other horizon. Once the two aren't in the sky, you get the feeling that light will be a little less. But you all have like eye protection and such, so you don't have to worry about sand blindness. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna calculate a recipe for that sad tea because that was an excellent idea. Try to figure out what do I need to do. It's, like thermoses. We have Chex Mix guy. Like I could do tea for feelings.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely jotting that down.
Everyone else, do you want to hang out here or do you want to go and investigate?
Waiting to investigate with allies.
I feel like didn't we investigate this whole place already? No.
I mean, like leave and investigate. Are you?
Oh,
Do you want to just sit here and wait for help to show up, or?
No, I'm ready to leave and investigate.
Okay.
If we can't figure out what we need to do here, then we'll have to take a small team of all 4 of us.
I mean, definitely no team larger than this. Not necessary.
I mean, yeah, like larger than that would just be irresponsible. But
Yeah.
like I think 4 is a solid number.
Okay.
Diplomacy.
Hooray! All right, so everyone heads out. Are you heading the opposite direction than when you came? I'm assuming.
Yeah,
But-
I guess towards the fire.
Okay. So you leave the complex of the building and the different solar panels, and you head off, and you notice pretty soon that the ground, this area seems to kind of be riddled with these small canyons. So like you'll have like a drop off, and these little ravines will like snake off into the desert around you. So every so often, like you'll be walking along, and then you run into one of these, and you can either climb down them and up the other side, or you can walk around. And they don't seem to have like they're not going in straight lines. They're pretty snaky, pretty wavy through the desert, and pretty early in the day, you find sign of people having moved through this area. Like obviously the sand over there is disturbed, and then you notice, oh, that's a scorch mark from a Matok blast or some kind of. It looks like when Atir shoots his Matok staff and misses. I mean, it hit something. It just didn't hit what you were aiming at,
Or didn't it?
or didn't it?
Is there blood or something?
You don't see any.
Maybe they're just shooting sand.
Not much else here to do, honestly.
Right? They went insane and are hunting sand now.
They could
Yep.
be practicing, training.
Could I look around and see what I think?
Mm-hmm. What are you
What
looking
would
for
that be?
specifically?
I'm still doing like the trying to do the qualitative, like what would humans be doing out in the desert? Like would it be or maybe what would be the effects of a living being out here shooting things, being like, is it footprints or like they said blood or just, I'm not sure. I guess
Gotcha.
human-y investigation.
Yeah.
Is that
Go ahead.
medicine or
Go ahead. Do a survival.
survival? This is why you're in charge, Jeremy.
All right. So as you look around, I mean, you can't find any reason that people would be out here, other than traveling through the area.
Mhm.
Like, you don't find any water sources. You don't find any food. So far, you haven't noticed any like fauna. There aren't any like lizards running around or anything like that. But as far as the weapons fire goes, you don't see any reason for it. There's not like signs that something was being hunted for food, if that makes sense.
So I'm gonna share that with the team. And I'm just pontificating with absolutely no basis because it's not my area. What if it's spaceships? What if they were just popped in here on their way somewhere and then pew 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 pew? Like, there's no. I would say there weren't even organisms here, to be honest.
It's definitely that kind of planet that people just stop by and get out and discharge their weapons, just fire around.
Yeah,
And
you
then-
have a bad day, you
Right.
know a wormhole, you just show up and punch the pillow, and then you go back to the grind.
Exactly.
Right.
different.
So while
So
she's
I
doing
tell our fearless leader that for security reasons.
perfect. So while she's doing like while she's investigating around and everyone's kind of looking, Atir, what are you doing?
I'm trying to figure out how to get us into wherever the organisms are and out safely.
Okay.
Because if we're going to be here for a while, we need food.
Mhm.
There was that like black licorice thing, which is not food.
It's like the opposite of food.
The opposite. We can't eat it. Maybe make the sad tea out of it.
Oh, yeah, we have like sad tea in the morning, but we need like it seems more and more like we need to get into, if not actual diplomacy with these people, we need to like get in, steal some supplies, get out in the hopes of either fixing this thing or whatever like technology they would have to get back.
Sure. So go ahead and also make me a survival check.
No.
The dice have been friendly today, I'm just saying. So you're looking around and you're thinking about all this and you're trying to figure out maybe where they went so you can get an idea to where to either go, borrow their water and food.
Yeah.
You'll give it back when you're done with it, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Or, if there's any other dangers or whatever. And you see that there's a lot of footprints in this area, and some go that way, and some go that way. Yours come from that way. And looking around, you don't really see a bunch. Like there's some over there, but really none of them go that way. It's more like there's some moving around over there between parties. And then some went that way, and then some went that way.
I will delegate to Kulera because I learned that delegation is a sign of a good leader, and Kulera is. I mean, when I do this tracking thing, I'm always good in that I find exactly where something fun is happening. That's rarely where we're actually supposed to go.
Totally fair. So Clara, what do you do with that information?
I'm gonna feel like, oh my gosh, I get to do another thing for the team because I don't have anything to heal right now, so this is just wonderful. Okay, those steps look like that person was just lost, and those steps look like they really needed to get there fast, and do whatever I can do to kind of dissect into the information he's asking about
Sure.
from my wisdom.
And I'm just going to use your previous role because this will be as part of your investigation. So with that amazing 22 that you had earlier, you do realize that, so looking at the tracks, even though this is in sand, which isn't like where you're from, like you're not really used to sand, you do get the like certain impressions where people, when they move through dirt, when they're moving quickly or when they're moving slowly, their tracks are a little different. Or if they're heavier than others, they might be deeper than the other person's. And you notice that a lot of the ones that were moving towards these ravines were moving quickly. And those moving away weren't moving as quickly and are heavier than when they came here. And that's on both sides. And I'm going to go ahead and also... Go ahead. You tell me what you think that means.
I'm going to tell him that, but I'm also going to, again, create a picture with no basis. What if they're moving goods and they go in there? Or what if when it gets dark, weird things come out and they had to get to that place? They were definitely carrying something and going that direction.
I'll ask Lonnie what she thinks, because Lonnie has always proven smarter than me. And this is kind of her specialty, just like the peoples and the culture in general.
How do I feel the way it feels and such?
What Clara said makes good sense. Like, they definitely came in and carried stuff out. The idea that there are nocturnal animals here would probably make sense since you haven't seen like things moving around in the day. Yeah, everything she said makes sense. You don't
Ravines
really
can
get an
dark.
you don't really get a sense of which direction is better. It seems like two groups of people came in and then left in opposite directions, both carrying something.
We should go left.
All right.
Okay, everyone good with going left?
I'm like agreeing, but looking around like, which way's left? Is it? They're not even looking at each other. Okay, I'm going. It doesn't matter, but curious.
That's awesome. Lanny's like, we go left, and Atir's like, okay, and then Atir goes that way, and Lanny
Right.
goes that way, because
Yeah.
they go opposite directions.
I'm actually
And then-
completely
Well,
okay with
and
it.
I'm gonna be like, do you have a different left too?
I'm just here to spark the go get 'em, and then
Yeah.
I'm gonna let Atir's the leader, so I'm just gonna be like, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right.
All
Okay.
right,
It
so you
seems
go.
like-
Go ahead.
I don't know. It just seems like any direction is a good direction. Let us go a direction.
So you follow Atir's left, which is Lanny's right, and you start heading that direction. It becomes pretty obvious that at least a group larger than yours has moved through this area recently, going both to the ravines and back from it. And as you travel, you begin to notice more tracks that, like, so definitely a person went off that way, almost like a scout on both directions. And excuse me, it takes you a bit of time, a couple hours of traveling and like climbing these dunes and going all over. And as you reach the crest of a dune, the sun is just like glaring down from the sky, but the other planet is gone, and so the light isn't quite as weird, but it's glaring down the sky, and you just like step over and you get this face full of reflected sunlight off of what looks like a glass dome, like the Epcot Center.
Yeah.
And there's like definitely like a complex. You like immediately notice it's not like a hidden thing. The glow, like the dome is definitely damaged. There's like large chunks of glass broken out. The buildings themselves look partially buried by sand. It's not like a well kept complex, but the tracks definitely lead to it. And you can notice movement down by the buildings.
Do we notice any large rocket launcher type of things to the side?
Like, are you talking like turrets, like weapon turrets, or are you talking like space rocket? We're gonna escape
Like-
the planet.
Turrets, like
Okay.
if you come within 100 feet.
You do not see any turrets on the ground, no. Go ahead and make me a perception check, though. And you can do a group one. So everyone can roll that, and we'll take the best average.
We're all rolling?
Yes, please.
Which one are we rolling?
Perception.
Okay, here's that.
Nice.
Ooh,
Nice.
science.
So together, as you all are looking around, you notice there aren't any weapon stations. It looks, Lanny and Burvell, it looks like almost like a scientific type of complex, not like a military complex. And you notice that there are people walking around. Most of them seem to be carrying staffs, and from this distance, it's hard to tell for sure, but they're like Atir has one. You're pretty sure they're carrying Matok staffs. They haven't seen you yet. What would you like to do? And essentially, you have to go down like a pretty steep dune to get down there.
So we have some options.
Fearless leader.
Are are you all good at sneaking? Do you want to sneak in? Do you think we can successfully sneak in? Because if we can't successfully, then we just gotta be up front.
Not
Are we
really a sneaker, but I could try.
I'm relatively okay at sneaking.
And you all notice as you're looking down, like the way the sand has moved the dune and everything, you could technically walk a longer way around and come in lower, so you're not like coming down this like pretty obvious descent into this like small complex. You might be able to sneak that way easier than the where you're at.
I'll point that one out for health reasons. Like, let's not get down there with like broken legs.
Like you can definitely see that people have gone this way, so there's not like necessarily danger, but if you're trying to sneak, that's probably not the way to do it, because you're gonna like be out in the open. So
Well, I was gonna say, how does Atir feel about sending some people in through the front door and getting the feel for things, and having other people sneak in case things go horribly wrong?
That's what he was thinking. Because they could just be super welcoming people. Like, oh my god, we have new friends. Check out our poker night. We need some more people.
So, if that's the case, I'll go to the front door because I'm much more better at
the speaking.
Mm-hmm.
More better at the face-to-face speaking than the sneaky.
I will also go to the front door.
I will.
You and the doctor are gonna sneak around.
Right? I'm gonna have my own like theme music, like let's go, girl. Da-da-da.
let's say, okay, so just to clarify, Atir's going to the front door.
And like, we don't have to sneak. I'm just gonna put that out there. We could just all like wing it.
Kind of sounds exciting now. Like,
Okay, yeah. We have Sneak Team 6 and the Pizza Deliverers. We're going with the friendship. You all are going to sneak in, get the goods. We're all going to meet back here at when that place is over there.
I mean, you have watches. You could. They're set to. They're set to like, you know.
I still feel like Atir would have done
Phoenix
that. Though. I
time.
felt like that was true to
Right?
character.
That is completely fair, and I revoke my statement.
Oh, wait, but as a scientist, I will then say we could also synchronize our watch.
Yes, I like that.
Love it. Okay, and who's going with Atir? Just so I'm. Okay. So Kulera and Breville are gonna head down the long way and sneak around, and Lania and Atir are going to head down the steeper area that's still probably safe to go in the front door. Okay.
I'm okay with rolling. If it's safer to like get, you know how we roll down grass hills?
Right.
Like, I'm okay with that.
Or you could just get out. You have like a tarp or something, I think, in your pack. You just pull out the tarp and just ride it down like a sled.
Yep.
That sounds so
It's
fun.
much safer than walking. It really
Right.
is.
And if you're gonna make an entrance that looks friendly, wouldn't that be it?
Right, we have to kind of distract so that they can go. Like people will be like, "Who are these crazy people sledding down the sand dune?"
And that's how the
Right.
sneaking comes in.
Yeah. Okay, so Breville and Calera both do a sneak check for me. Stealth.
With advantage.
With advantage.
Oh, thank God. Oh, that wasn't too bad.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
There we go. Let's go, Breville.
All right, so essentially they go down to the other side of the dune. Like it's kind of one of those dunes that angles up and then drops off. And so you just step down a few steps and you're out of sight from the complex, and you just head off in that direction. You feel like you're being extraordinarily sneaky. Like Clara's even just like running your fingers through the sand. You're like, just be one with the sand. Yeah. And Breville, you're kind of expecting it to be more noisy that she's doing that, but yet it doesn't seem that way. Like it seems like it's helping.
Yeah, just trying to be tactical and like, what?
Right?
How are you doing that?
Here, you need some too.
Sprinkle it on it.
No,
It's
no.
the magical fairy dust of the
Sand
land.
glitter. Or desert glitter, yeah. Meanwhile, Atir and Lanny, so you two, are you going on one tarp, or like you tobogganing it, or are you each doing your own tarp?
I think we should do our own tarp so we could like
Oh,
do like
nice.
tricks and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, to be
I
fair,
am not tactical. I'm athletic though. I will say I am athletic, but I'm not
Sa-
tactical.
Neither
to be
am I.
fair, if there's going to be stunts, we're gonna call them stunts, or decorational tobogganing, you're gonna have to do either an acrobatics or an athletics check.
Athletics check.
Oh god. I hope I don't fall on my face.
Oh,
Nice.
Oh, you did great.
you did great. Yeah, I'm the one who's
So
like, wait, slow down.
yeah. So Atir, you got that Motok staff, and you're like trying to hold on to it because there wasn't really a good way to like stow it while you're sitting. It's just weird. And so you got it under one arm, and you're trying to steer. And like when you go, are you left-handed or right-handed?
Right-handed, you know.
Yeah. So when you go left, it's a little awkward because you're trying to like go up, and so you don't really get that. It's more like rather than doing this, you're doing this. And so he starts like zooming off to the right, and Lanny's just like, "Oh no, you didn't!" And she just, like steers around him on the way down, and it really is beautiful if you're watching it from the ground. And in fact, you hear shouting coming from ahead, and Atir, it's like really obvious. Like you hear Jaffa shouting, like they're like, "Jaffa 3!" and which means attention, and then like people start running over.
Nice shouting or angry shouting?
Insight check?
Okay. I'm good at that one.
Okay. Definitely like alerted. Not necessarily aggressive though. Not aggressive towards you, but having been around a tier and other Jaffa, like they tend to speak to each other pretty like when they're doing, not necessarily when they're just hanging out, but when they're like doing military stuff, they're pretty like gruff a lot of the time.
Okay.
I think gruff
Like
is a
if I
good
was
word
listening
for
to-
it. What's that?
If I was listening to German.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it. And so they're definitely very attentive. They're very on alert. They sound somewhat aggressive, but not necessarily like, let's go shoot these people. And a tier, as you slide down and you see movement starting to come out of the complex, you notice only like one of the like 5 that have like shown up so far are wearing Jafar armor.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the other ones are just wearing like leathers, kind of the stuff you just like hang out in, or even though you haven't been a super active part for very long of the Jaffa rebellion,
Mm-hmm.
you know that like this is kind of how the rebellion dresses.
Right.
And if they happen to have armor, they keep it because I mean it's armor, use it.
Yeah.
But like if they don't have armor, they don't go out and like try and get armor necessarily. Like they are trying to leave that like behind them. So, but at the same time, having it is useful.
Right.
So, however you want to think about that as you glide to the bottom.
I have to fix my hair, so I'm going to use the gliding use.
Perfect.
It's going to be a mess.
So I would like to whatever Jaffa acknowledgement that I am also a part of the rebellion.
Okay. So as you stand up, you notice that the person, you're not really sure, male, female, whatever, that's wearing armor is wearing one of the snake-headed armors, which is serpent. I can't think of what it's called. And the helmet like shifts back to reveal their face, and they're all looking at you. The guy who is revealed by the armor, you actually were in the same clan as he was, and he left before you decided that the gold weren't actually gods, that they
Mhm.
are just like these mean overlords that are pretending to be gods. He defected before you, and you actually have been hunting him for like several years. So it's a little awkward for you. You don't know if he knows you've been hunting him, but like while you were still
While I was still like go
right,
go,
he
I
was
was hunting.
yeah, he was Chauvin. He was just like obviously like traitor, deserter. So you don't know how he feels about you, but you have this like weird. You were actually right, but for the longest time, I thought you were a traitor.
Right,
Feeling
like-
go through you.
Am I getting any like insight to the situation, or like can I feel any of the awkwardness? And
Yeah.
Sure.
Ooh, this is.
If a tier thinks so,
I'm
then
gonna be real
obviously.
awkward about this.
Yeah, I'm being like super awkward because I'm like, you were
Okay.
right, and I want to thank you, but I did try to kill you on multiple occasions, and I'm not sure saying you were right covers that, and I'm not really sure how to come. And I don't want to bring up that you were like I tried to kill you because maybe you don't know, and that might like fix it. But if you like become friends, like there's a lot of things, and a tear's like, I can't just hit this, can I?
And his name is Retak, just so you know.
Retire.
Retak.
So I guess I'll start off as unawkward as possible. Retak, how are you doing?
Ah, Tyr. I am surprised to see you here. And with this Tauri, what did you I don't know how he would say. Did you get the hell out of Dodge? No.
I did. I work, or I serve the Stargate now. Or Stargate.
Interesting. And it is through the Choppa Eye that you came here.
Yes, though not on purpose.
That is the same way we arrived. I was hoping you had come with a Hatak or some kind of vessel to remove us from this planet. Come, bring your Tauri friend with you.
Do I know anything about this culture and how they say hi and all that kind of stuff?
Absolutely, yeah.
How do they say hi? Is it a handshake? Is it a hug? Is it a salute? Is it?
How can I make this as awkward as possible? No, yeah, you could
Hey, I'm down,
say
I'm
hi. Yeah, you could just say hi. It's fine.
Oh, okay. There's no handshake or anything to get in the club.
Yeah, there's no secret handshake. I have this story that my anthropology teacher told me a long time ago that I feel like I could tell you all, but it would eat up time, so I'm not going to. After hours.
Okay.
So yeah, you say hi and like the others nod. Atir, you notice that like of the 5, Retak has like a Motok staff, 2 others have Motok staffs, and then 2 have Zat guns, which are like little pistols like things that also run on Aquila. So like they're obviously armed.
Right. Can I do an insight check to see if he really is like, yes, welcome, or if he's like, welcome, so I can just bop you on the head?
Absolutely. Roll away.
Gonna get little bunny food.
You're right.
We're best friends.
Little bunny foo foo. Yeah, so you don't feel like he is being non-legit.
All right, works for me.
You do notice that like the others who you don't know are not necessarily giving you the stink eye, but they're watching you closely, and they all stay prepared with their weapons. Like they're not aiming them at you once you have your conversation with Retak, but they're definitely like keeping kind of like that mid range where it's really easy just to drop and shoot you, or whap you with the other end.
Low ready, fellas.
Right. So while Atir and Lanny are following them into the complex, Burvell and Clara, you make it down to the far side, and you do notice, like, over there's definitely like a Jaffa with um, a staff weapon that's. It looks like they're keeping watch, kind of in your direction. So you're still gonna have to like be sneaky, but you're not like coming down the billboard of "Here I am." What do you do?
What were we supposed to do, Burvell? Like, when we get there, what do we do?
Sneak.
Okay.
So that's checked off.
Yep. Then what?
Cover. I
Oh,
believe.
good.
Yeah, I believe that we were meant to be a sneak in, make sure that everything's okay for their end, if possible, or if not peaceful, then we would be the surprise attack. So we may have the responsibility of saving our friends.
Surprise piece or surprise attack. Got it.
Correct. Do we see our allies at all, or are we?
Yeah, as you're like essentially arriving at that point, you can see them walk off out of your vision, accompanied by some other Jaffa.
Now, they're entering into the complex itself. Doesn't look too hostile. I'm not sure if Atir intended us to stay outside or to join him.
Well, if they went inside and they didn't look like they were prisoners, maybe we can just go inside too. You know, they did say it was a possibility. Everybody was friendly here. We just didn't know.
Perhaps. What do you say? Give them the benefit of the doubt?
Yeah, if it didn't look like they were being shot at or prisoners, let's do it.
It's always good to let the hippie be in charge.
Absolutely. This is how we respond. We had 2 steps, and that's it.
By
Done.
your
We're
lead, then,
successful.
Kalira.
All right, so you're not going to sneak in. You're gonna just walk in and be like, "We're
Nope,
here."
We're gonna walk up. Notably, the P90's away, but I am gonna I always think Beretta holsters just have the little click button thing that you flip over.
Fair
So
enough.
just Beretta at the ready, just in case.
Okay.
And I am aware how I look. So I'm gonna like capitalize on that and continue my sand dance as we approach. Just enjoying the environment. I can get on board here. You know, just try
Okay.
to disarm the situation.
Okay. So yeah, as you walk up, you're heading towards that guard that you saw.
I'm following
I'm too busy
Kalira.
dancing. I'm following the engineer. Where are we going?
Okay.
You're just walking, just wandering the desert, right? Burvell's
They were
like, I'm
never
gonna.
seen
Like,
or
I have a
heard from
job right
again.
now. My job is to not get us killed by doing what I do. So I need you to.
Then I will lead Sand Dancer down to the
Right.
guard that we saw.
So essentially, it takes about half of the trip for Burvell to realize that even though he was following Clara, after a short distance, Clara will then like shift and like so then he's trying to follow her over here, and he's just like, why aren't we going just straight at it? But like he thinks that he's going after her, and so there's obviously a plan. And then as the guard starts walking out and shouting at you, you're just like, we're following each other. Okay. And Claire's just all down with it because you were still getting there. The journey
Yeah.
is the important part.
It is
So-
about the journey, not the destination.
Right. And so you meet in the middle with this Jaffa guard who has the staff weapon pointing at you. And he's like, who are you? What are you doing here?
That's not necessary. We're here with our friends who you've just let enter.
I have a lot of culture. Can I try to culture him?
Can you tell me what that
Am I-
means?
Verb.
So I'm a long traveler on a pilgrimage of meeting people and learning things and sharing. And I feel like if I heard, because this is a pretty commonly spoke about group of people, right?
Oh yeah, you definitely know about them, and
So anything that I know to be like, hey friend, what's up? We're cool. We're not, gonna take you out or anything. Like just polite small talk. Don't shoot us. Our friends are inside. You can call your friends. It'll be fine.
do you want to do a persuasion check? Should we call it persuasion?
Is it? Okay.
Is
Yeah,
it?
I could try that. I was just going with the small talk. The engineer's the thinker.
You guys are hilarious.
Right?
We let
What's
you
your?
off.
I don't have persuasion. I know things about what you like, friends. But that's
Right?
all I got.
We are getting taken captive, which is technically what we wanted. We wanted to be inside, so I mean, we got there.
That's true. High five, Ravel.
Nice.
Talk about the blind leading the blind.
Right.
This is
So-
hilarious.
When
I
you
feel like
guys
it's.
are
I
fine
feel like
friends.
it's when like we as like regular people like try to talk to someone of a different culture and we just come off as maybe a little offensive.
American.
Okay. Yep. Super alienist right now.
Right? So
We're
he
gonna hope these
he
people
doesn't-
like
right. He doesn't look like he's going to shoot you, but he looks a little offended. And he's just like, this way, come with me. But he doesn't like do it in the come with me, I'm going to lead you. Come with me in the way that I'm going to point you in this direction and walk you this way with my gun at your back. That kind of. And he's going to essentially try and get you to go into the complex of buildings as long as you don't run away or try and fight.
Perfect. Excellent
glad
work,
this
Clara.
worked, man.
Very,
I was a
very
little
well
worried.
done. No,
Yeah.
very well done. You spoke
Great,
very,
okay.
very.
And our new friend can find our friends, so they should be in here. We saw them go in the other side. So whoever you talk to.
Chaz, you let this happen. You let this happen.
Did I let this happen? Yes. Did I know this was also going to happen? Also, probably yes.
This is comical. This is exactly what happened. These two people went off in the real world. The hippie and engineer.
Yeah. But we would have a great time though.
Oh, without a doubt.
Having fantastic time.
All right, so around the same time, like Kulera and Burvell are like about a minute later arriving in this like kind of little square area, like little common area of these buildings. And several other Jaffa step out of like buildings just to look to see what's going on. Many of them aren't armed, although they like, when it comes to a Tears group, everyone's just kind of like walking and being chill and not I'm gonna shoot you kind of stances. And so none of them like run back in to get their weapons. But the like few that see, Clara and Burvell, many of them will then like they'll all go back in and get their weapons and follow the guy who's leading you.
Clearly
so
an
when you-
entourage.
Yeah,
I
so when you
know.
all meet up, you're actually both with about the same size groups. One is very hostile, and the other is not so much. And Retak is like, "Are those your friends you told me about?" To a tear.
Yes, I was thinking about it. Yeah.
Hey,
That's,
friend,
you did. Did you
we
do
don't
that?
get a lot of visitors. This has been a great time.
Did you do that thing you do when you see? Yeah, like they're our friends.
He waves down the other ones. He's like, "It's okay. You can go back to your homes." And so they, like the guy you offended, reluctantly like raises his staff, glares at you, and then walks back off to go back
I'm
to
gonna
his
tell him,
station.
Thank you for getting us here safely.
He says something that you don't understand, but a tear you're like, "Oh, I should not translate that."
Yet you're welcome.
Lovely. And as you're all standing around, Retak says something to one of the other Jaffa that you don't know, Atir, and he runs off. And shortly thereafter, after he runs into a building, a woman with one of those helmets on that's shaped like a cat head walks out. A tier, make me a history check at advantage.
14.
14. You are pretty sure that this is Cadessa. Cadessa was a Bast warrior of some renown, and when she defected and became a rebel, it was a big deal. Like, sent ripples throughout the Jaffa nation. And she was like instrumental in like so many raids against the gold. Like, there were raids on like Naquita deliveries that you were doing, and like, so you've like personally been hit by her raids before. And then she disappeared. Like, the gold said they killed her, but this woman is very much alive in front of you.
I want to like fanboy and oh my god, and try to remember like should I bow? Should I like be strong? I don't do. Oh my.
She definitely, in the hierarchy, she was definitely above you. Like, she was in some elite level stuff.
Yeah.
So you have that like maybe instinct to defer to her for sure, whereas the
Yes.
others around you are pretty much on your level. There's this like weird like flashback of you just wanting to like almost throw yourself at her feet, but not quite.
I'll like keep trying to decide if I should bow. Like, should I bow lower? No, we're good.
And her head open, like the cat head opens up and rolls back, and this is probably the first time you've ever seen her face, but she's, you know, like kind of caramel complexion, very powerfully built, has this like very stern face that you want to call beautiful, but like the glare kind of like has an edge to it that you're like, but damn. And she says, "Are you here to save us?" And for those of you watching live, we're going to take a break right here. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, this is the end of the YouTube simulcast. However, we will be putting part 2 up on YouTube on the... I'll check with Wyvern Gaming to see if they want to put it up on their channel as well, but it'll definitely be on the WH Publications, or if you search for it, Wanderers Haven Publications on YouTube. It'll be up on my channel this weekend, so you can catch part 2. I hope you're enjoying WonderCon, and thanks for watching with us. We'll be back in probably about 10 minutes if you're watching live on Twitch. Be back soon.